Eilers is an artist many people know from art fairs throughout the Midwest. We recently spotted her at Alexandria's Art in the Park. Let's leave the crowd and visit Ellen at her summer home on Lake Darling. We're in her studio, which also doubles as a kitchen table. Ellen, I was just wondering, could you tell us about how you got started in art and how many years you've been painting?
Well, I've been painting ever since I was a little kid. I just started because I liked drawing and painting, so I've done it really all my life. I've taken an art workshop, at least one every year, for many years. So I think most of my training would have to be that I've taken workshops from very outstanding artists such as Edgar Whitney. I was lucky enough to take 3 years with him, and Frank Webb and many other artists.
The training that you had, was it primarily in painting and drawing then?
Well, most of the workshops were watercolor, actually, and I've worked in many different mediums, you know, watercolor, acrylic. The 3 that I've settled on the last few years are watercolor, acrylic, and collage. I just have fun looking at all the different kinds of paper. I bought a whole stack of collage paper, and then have fun going through it and picking out what I like, you know.
Was this a watercolor now?
Yeah, I've got a couple of watercolors. I love doing winter scenes.
And that's very realistic.
I think I call this Winter at Grandpa's or something like that.
Quite a contrast from Calico country, because
yeah, this one's very realistic. This one I had so much fun playing with alcohol. I experiment a whole lot with watercolor. This was with Mazza paper, which I crinkled up, wet it and crinkled it up. And I'm not done with this. I want to do something yet with the sheep. This is called Kaylee in the Kiwi Patch. That's an acrylic.
And Kaylee is the kitty.
Kaylee is a kitty.
Is that your kitty?
No, it's an imaginary kitty. But this is just a big spoof. You know?
But you're having fun. You know, I think so many of us really think of you when they think of the Calico Country series of artwork. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got started on developing that?
Well, actually, it started with a woodcut that I did in Charles Speck's class, Fergus Falls. I did a little woodcut, and I called it Ornamental Tree. And then I thought, well, that'll be kind of fun to do as an acrylic painting, something like that. And from there, it just kind of grew into my Calico Country series. That's the one that sort of caught on as far as other people are concerned. I sell more of those than I do of any other thing I do.
Ellen begins each painting by drawing with a watercolor pencil, so that changes can be made by wiping with a damp cloth to erase the original lines.
So that's one of my little deals that I do. I work with various brushes and then 3 knives.
And I can see they're very well used.
They certainly are. This has become a very useful knife because I do all my tiny little lines upended with this knife too. But I pick up paint and make fence lines and so on, whatever,
great.
tiny little lines. So that's one of my things. Another one of my things that I do that most people don't do, I make my own silly little palettes. The reason I like these little palettes is I can hold it in my hand. And then I can throw it away if I want to afterwards. It's cut out of milk cartons.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah. So this is going to be an acrylic. You're working on a stretched canvas. So is this going to become a Calico country painting that you've started here?
Yes, well, I'll tell you the history of this too. I did this painting, and I was pleased with it until somebody pointed out a big boo-boo I had made. Can you see what boo-boo there is on that painting?
Well, it looks like the coal car is about 3 cars back behind the engine.
That's it.
Is that it?
That's it. So that coal car belongs right up behind the engine.
Okay.
So I decided to do another one similar to this and put the coal car where it belongs.
Well, now people know that. They'll know this is going to become more collectible as a print.
When I start a painting like this, I usually draw in just the big shapes. And then I paint each big shape one flat color first. So if I were going to do the sky, I might mix some blue. And then I paint approximately the color that I want it to be when it's done. But I might have 5 different layers. And just paint away.
As you're doing that, I'm reminded one of my favorite paintings, and I was so surprised to see your signature on it, but it was this large canvas, very realistic painting of an ox cart at the Evansville Historical Foundation. Did Alf Thompson commission that?
Yeah, he did. And I had to go and research the ox cart because I didn't know exactly what an ox cart looked like. And I went to some museum, which I can't remember now, don't remember where it was, where they had an ox cart. So I went there and sketched it. And
now when you do your Calico country paintings, are any of the detail, like there's so much detail in Calico country, and I have to believe that some of that is based on maybe childhood experiences and memories that you've had?
Sometimes.
Of country life?
Yeah. One of the paintings, I call it September in Calico country. I was a school teacher, and my first schools that I taught were one-room country schools, and everything in that painting is like the schools I taught, except I painted the schoolhouse red and mine were white.
Do you draw your inspiration, do you think that there were any significant artists that might have influenced your style?
Well, probably without my knowing it. There was an art critic once that said that I was a combination Currier and Ives, Grant Wood, and Grandma Moses. So I don't know. I love Grant Wood's work.
I do too.
Well, anyway, I did an art fair, took part in an art fair where Grant Wood had his school of art, had students living in the ice wagons and so on and so forth, and stood right where Grant Wood had stood when he painted one of his paintings. That was fun.
You have sky and water, And it looks like a bridge. Is this a bridge
Yeah.
outline here?
I do a lot of rock bridges because I just think fun doing it. And then I put in solid colors first for the fields. The reason that they're called Calico Country, another artist and I were doing a show one time, and I had a painting and I had to figure out a name for it. And I was asking Rita, what in the world should I call this painting? And she said, well, it looks like calico.
A few days later, and this is Ellen's finished painting. Note the position of the coal car behind the engine as it crosses the Stone Arch Bridge. A new jigsaw puzzle in a 16-month calendar featuring Ellen's Calico Country paintings have recently been published and are now available just in time for holiday gift buying. To learn more, visit our website at lakescountry.tv.